Good morning, good morning, good morning. So it is June 8th, 2024. I am off to drive me some Uber. Hopefully we find some cool people to hang out with and talk with. So I've been thinking about how I want to do this and stuff like that. For now, what I'm thinking is I'm gonna say I'm doing near live streaming, right? So not quite live, but close. And I'll wear my glasses. Ta-da! Done. And then I am going to drive around, let it record as I go, just hang out, thinking, talking, doing whatever. And then I'll pause it when I get to a rider's location and talk to them. We may decide to turn it back on and record our conversation. We may not. But once I drop them off, then I'll pick up the recording again. And so if I do that every day, I think I could get a couple hours of content recorded that we can then stream using, I use a, it's not video, is it StreamYard? StreamSend, I think, for broadcasting. Restream. I use Restream.io. That's the one, which I've not been using because I'm still trying to figure this all out. Well, with driving Uber, I'm in charge. I can make all the choices. I can get in all the trouble myself, right? So that's my strategy at this point, is going to be just cruising around, thinking, talking, having a ball, looking for what can we do, who can we meet, how will it all go, which I think is pretty cool. Should be fun. Today we're going to Indian Creek Winery later with some friends. They've got a Birds of Prey exhibit, which is really cool. So the Birds of Prey Museum comes and sets up a bunch of tents and do all kinds of family stuff and stuff like that. So today's journal entry will start with me driving Uber, and then we'll go into that whole adventure. Show you what we find down at the Birds of Prey festival, fair. I don't know what they really call it, but it's gonna be fun. And then we're having Robert and his wife and baby over for dinner, so that'll be cool. Robert's one of my best friends. He was one of the original investors in my idea, and continues to be one of the few people that really, I think, sees what I'm trying to do. I don't think he understands how I'm trying to do it yet, which we don't have tons of time to talk because we both have lives and kids and have to pay for life and all that fun stuff. But he really believes in what I'm doing, which is, it's been a godsend. I have two friends, Brian and Robert. I have hundreds of acquaintances and people, two good friends, let's put it at that. I've got tons of friends. This is how I look at life. I have one wife, I have one dog, I have two friends, I have 3 kids. And that right there is all the success I will ever need. I know that sounds silly, but to me, the most important part of success is finding your enough. When is enough enough? Most people don't think about that. They don't think about what they really want out of their time. Now, you should never think about it as much as I do. I don't think. It's incredibly challenging trying to collapse time. And the reason I believe what I'm trying to do is so hard is because you can only collapse time on your timeline, right? You can look back at your past, and you can look forward at your desired future. And you can make decisions today to get closer to that desired future, right? So that's how we collapse time, is by making decisions today about the future we want to be creating. And when you do that on a 40-year timeline, what that means is you're making decisions today based off the 40 years behind you and the 40 years ahead of you, right? It's not just one way. When you're collapsing time, you look both directions on your timeline. So what I'm trying to do is incorporating my entire history. But when I talk to people, I'm only talking to them in today's moment. They don't see all of my history, nor do they see all of my goals and what I've put together. And that's one of the reasons I'm so direct, and I come off very strong. I'm a very acquired taste, I've realized. But the reason why I do that, and the reason why I'm okay with that, hey, we got a ride. This trip. Anyways, the reason I'm okay with coming off as ridiculous and out there, and the reason I put on such a strong persona, is because when you're trying to collapse time, you have to show everyone exactly who you are. There can be no secrets, because all secrets will come out eventually. And so that's part of, to me, that's part of collapsing time, is complete and utter transparency in the moment. That's why I do these daily journal entries, is because my strategy on my time changes every day. Tomorrow I could wake up and a meteor hit our house while we were gone, right? Random thing. So tomorrow that could happen. If that does happen, my strategy changes immediately. Like, there's no question about it. As things happen in our life, we need to be flexible to change. We need to be flexible to say, okay, this isn't working. I've got to do something else. Case in point, I'm driving Uber right now. Had a long conversation with my wife this week just about finances and service experts. And while I love the job, financially, the way it's set up right now is not going to support our family. And so I've got to change. And so after the next day, we signed up on Uber. We're driving Uber now, and I've incorporated that into the blog. And if I move on from service experts to another service company, because what I like about service companies is they are real world assets that people are going to buy regardless. So it's and I think it makes great content, like cleaning the filters, stuff like that. I've thought about going into landscaping. I could be a landscaper, put on my glasses, and then I'd be doing stuff like SB Mowing does, and creating those ASMR videos that people like, stuff like that, which I think, who knows? Anyways, I'm gonna turn off for now. We may be back with a writer, we may not, we'll see. Oh my Lanta, that was so fun. So it was like a 5-minute ride from the auto dealership to the mall. So we didn't have time to get into a podcast, but she ended up working at KTVB, the news station, and she's a videographer. And so I showed her my glasses, talked a little bit about my podcast. I invited her to do an episode, so I gave her my contact information, and we'll go from there. But gosh, life is so fun. I love the adventure. And this is what I really like about driving Uber, I have realized, is you never know who you're gonna meet. And the way I look at the world, so we're talking about collapsing time, right? So these folks, I was only in their life for 5 minutes. But the way I showed up, the way I engaged, and they engaged back, created a relationship. And now, even though I'm gone, they will think and talk and potentially subscribe to my blog. which now I'll be able to build a longer relationship with them just because they're paying attention to me and what I'm doing already. And that I think is how you collapse time. The best person in the world at collapsing time, I believe, is Elon Musk. He's running 6 world-changing companies at one time. Not because he's the genius behind all 6, but because he can empower everyone in all 6 companies through the vision that he's created. He doesn't have to micromanage them because they want to be there. They are excited to be part of that team. And I think that's the cool part about life, is you can empower anyone in any way to be part of any team. It's all your choice. And so as we're going through life, as we're looking at how we interact with everyone, how we engage with people, what we do, it all becomes part of one relationship, part of one world, because we're all tied together by time. I look at life like a chessboard, and there are 8 billion pawns on that chessboard. Elon Musk is nothing more than a pawn. He's just a pawn who has gotten really clear on his vision and what he's trying to accomplish, and enlisted millions of other pawns to support it. If you think Tesla would be what Tesla is right now without Elon Musk, I think you're a silly goose. If you think any of those companies would be anywhere close to as successful as they are today without Elon Musk driving it, without Elon Musk behind it, it's crazy. There's no way they would be where they are, because Elon, so on X, I think he has 180 million followers, something like that. 180 million people, when he says something, want to hear what he says. That's what a follower is. They want to pay attention to the story. They want to pay attention to the journey. And it's their choice. It's their choice whether they open up that app or not. And it's their choice if they follow anyone or not. And that, I believe, is the beauty of life, is we all have the freedom of thought. And this is something I was actually thinking about yesterday. We talk about freedom of speech a lot. I don't think we have freedom of thought, because people are always talking about misinformation. If you believe misinformation is a thing, then you believe what you think is right and what someone else thinks is wrong, regardless of who they are, what they think, how they think it. And I just disagree with that. I think every human on this planet has a different life experience than every other human, which means every human's education is different, our life journeys are different, everything about us is different. And so if you look at it that way, if you look at it like, listen, we are all human. We are all sharing the same time. This is why I believe time is the true currency in the world, because you can never go back in time. You can never change what you did in the past, whether we're talking about yesterday, June 7th, 2024, or 100 years ago, June 7th, 1924. Both are in the past, and both histories cannot be changed. And so when is history written? I think that's a really important question. History is written each and every day. History is written with what comes out of your mouth. History is written with what you do. That's why if you go to my blog, justindcstevens.com, you can see my history. This is the history I have written. It is my history. It is my past. That does not dictate my future, but at least now people can see what is my past. What have I done? How have I done it? How have I showed up? How has all of that worked? Or has it? And regardless, it's all irrelevant, because the time's going to pass anyway. Oh. Well, I was going to go to the airport, but it looks like there's a bunch of cars already there. So since the time is going to pass, what history are you writing? And that's something I don't think a lot of people think about. Every day you are writing history. So the question then becomes, if I write history every day, what am I writing? What history am I writing? Where am I trying to go? How am I trying to get there? Because it's my choice. It's my choice how my brain operates. It's my choice what I think about, when I think about it, where I think about it. It's my choice when I get in my car and drive Uber. It's my choice when I go out and work for service experts. Life is yours to control. Life is yours to direct. But you have to have an idea of where you're trying to take it. And to me, I think that's one of the biggest problems our society has. Ask someone what their plans are for next week or next year. Most people do not think about time as a commodity. They just live time, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that's what one of the problems with our society is people are always looking for today instead of planning their future, planning where they want to be, where they want to go, how they want to be there. All of that. It's all an option. Life is optional. What you do is optional. That's I talk about the real world and the virtual world. Right now, I am in the real world in Boise, Idaho, driving down Broadway, headed towards downtown. Because I don't know. I don't know the best way to find riders. I don't know if it's, hey, you should go somewhere and just sit, or you drive around and hope you catch something. That's part of what I'm trying to figure out. If you know, please share that information. This is my second day driving Uber, which is awesome. It's totally fun. So yeah, just living life. Sorry, got distracted. Squirrel. My wife thinks I have ADHD. Not gonna lie, I think I might too. I'm leaning that direction at least. So, in the virtual world, because I have these glasses on, and because I turned them on and hit record, I am now capturing this moment in time, right? I can turn them off. We are no longer capturing this moment of time in the virtual world. We are in the real world. You can never shut the real world off, but the virtual world, it's yours to decide how to interact with. I believe as soon as you open a phone, your attention leaves the real world and enters the virtual world. The moment you open that phone. And then it's your choice what app you go to. If you go to email, that's still your virtual presence. If you go to social media, that's your virtual presence. Whether you post or not is actually irrelevant. Your virtual presence is your virtual presence. And so it's your choice how to use it. And we all have one. And you all always will have one. It is impossible to remove a virtual presence from history. Yes, you can delete things. But once something is on the internet, there is a record of it. And there always will be. Because someone else could have seen it. Someone could have moved it. Someone could have adjusted it. There's so many options. And so I think that's part of the beauty of trying to leverage the real world, what you do in real life, with the virtual world. So no matter what I do in real life, my virtual presence follows me. Probably since September, I have carried these glasses around. I've not been as great using them because I've not felt like I was on the same page with the owners and the company, and I want to follow the rules, because that's the other thing about collapsing time. When you're trying to collapse time, it is not at all about writing the rules, because other people write the rules. It's not about arguing over the rules. Who wrote what rule, and is it good or is it bad, or any of that. When the goal is to collapse time, the goal is to follow the rules. I don't care who makes the rules. Camera died. So much fun. And so it's one of the interesting conundrums I'm in with my wife. is she tells me, I don't want to be your mommy. I don't want to give you rules. Well, if you don't give me rules, then I will follow my rules, which is also not what she wants. I would have been live streaming if I had complete and utter control over my full 24 hours and no family to support and take care of, which I do, which is why I've not done this. I would live stream my life 24 hours a day. I don't care. I am open to that level of transparency. I'm actually excited about that level of transparency. Someday I may run for office of some sort. If I did, one of my differentiators will be my blog. Because any room I'm in, I take all my voters with me. Everyone who supports me gets to be in that room too, because of these classes. They get to be in that conversation. And I think that level of transparency is what we need as a society to get on the same page, to start really working together. But transparency is, people don't want it until they want it. They don't want it until you've proven you have something that they would like to see or understand. Until you have proof of your success. Someday I will have proof of everything I'm doing, and that it's working. And it's working exactly as I've designed it to work. I'm just the only one really using it. Once we get a couple other people to see, hey, got another ride. Once we get a couple other people to see what it is we're doing, and they start subscribing, I believe that's when the flywheel will start working. I've stopped trying to really explain the concept and idea because it takes so much to get out there that I try to just intrigue people to follow me on social, to learn with me, to be part of my journey as I'm going through it. And then whenever they're ready, they can sign up. And eventually, people either will or they won't. Either way is irrelevant, because this is how I've decided to invest my time, and I own my time. This is the impact I've decided I want to chase, and it is my choice how I make decisions. It is my choice what I say. That is the freedom of speech. And so, whether it works or not, it's working for me. And that's what counts. Is your life working for you? And the way I look at it, this is how I'm building a life to take care of my family in the future. The work I do today is setting up my kids for their future, and their kids for their future, and their kids' kids for their future. Everything I do today will have generational effect because I want it to. Because I'm focused on creating something not just for today, not just for right now, but something that will make an impact for me and those who support me long term. And that's life. Life is about how do you make decisions, how do you support people, how do you show up in the way you want to show up. And it's all your choice. I think that's the big thing a lot of people miss, is that it's all your choice. But you have to think about it. You have to be willing to look at your timeline and say, this is where I want to go. And I don't know how long it will take. I'm really glad when I started this journey, I gave myself 40 years, because to be candid, I thought maybe my family would understand it by now. I'm 2 years in. And I've kind of there's been a rift created between me and my family just because of my belief system and what I believe and how different it is from their belief system. And when I first started, I thought this was all about business, and as I've flushed out the idea more and more in my brain, as I made decisions, I've realized the biggest problem is communication. That's where my education is so different than anyone else's. So take my parents, which I loved my parents. They are amazing mentors, incredibly smart. But when they grew up, technology didn't exist like it does today. Operating in today's world is vastly different than the world they grew up in. And so their education, their thought processes are vastly different than mine. And it's educating each other on, how do you think? How do I think? Because since time is the thing that unites us, it can only be lived once. I think to build great relationships, you need to understand how the other person thinks. You need to talk about, what do you think about all day? How do you make decisions? Which people, in my experience, don't like those type of discussions. But that's all right. Anyways, I'm about at my next house, so I am going to turn off the podcast. We'll see, depending on the conversation and everything, we may come back with another host, and we may not. Life, you never know in life. So, with that, we'll talk to y'all soon. Well, that was nice. Nice group of people just dropped off to go shopping. I'm really liking this method of creating content. It's just me, and then I get to bring people in and update them and whatever. And one of the thoughts I had just while I was driving this last group was, you know how like Mr. Beast blesses people with his games and creating content and stuff like that? That's what I want to turn this podcast into. How cool would it be if I pick up someone and we're just talking, and it's like, all right, what could we do to be a blessing in your life? What are you struggling with right now? Or what's going on in your world? And let's say they've lost their job, and we take them grocery shopping and just load them up on groceries. And then the blog pays for all of that as marketing expenses. We record all of it. We record everything we're doing. And we're taking care of the person. We're helping them by adding value to their life. They're helping us by adding value to the podcast. And then we take the podcast and share the message and the goal. So one of the reasons why I like these glasses specifically is since it is first person view, everything I do is replicatable. There is nothing unique about what I do. There's nothing special about what I do. There's nothing copyrightable about what I do. Like, this is literally just how I live my life. And anyone can do it. And that's the whole goal, is to show people, hey, we as a society have to be the change we want to see in our society. And the only way you can be the change you want to see in society is by being the change. And so, to me, that is, you gotta make it a priority. You've got to be willing to put yourself out there in a way that other people will judge you for. I get judged all the time. People think I am a raging idiot. Oh well, that is their choice. They're judging me based on my today, when I judge me based on my life and where I'm going and how I'm getting there. We're not making judgments on the same thing. And that's, I think it's so funny, people who kind of follow along the journey and everything like that, people don't see the changes I make because of what I'm trying to accomplish and how I'm trying to do it. The only way they would see the changes I make is if they invested time and sat down with me while I'm going through all of this and making those decisions, making those changes. Because what I'm making is based off, if I was a client, so I think America should operate like a country club, right? There's a fee to be a member of a country club. And there is ownership of a country club. There should be a fee to be a member of America, and there should be ownership that comes with it. And that whole premise idea is what I've designed my life around. So I'm building a country club. It is my blog. So it's not a physical country club in the real world. It is a digital club in the virtual world. It is just my blog. So I'm building this club, and as I'm building it, I'm inviting other people to join if they want. They don't have to. It is all optional. And I think this is what people miss about life, and specifically about what I'm trying to do. I won't follow up with you. I won't push you. I won't try to get anyone to sign up. I don't care. Eventually people will see what I'm doing and they'll sign up on their own. But I've designed my own country club. And that's how life works. And then you share what you design with other people. So the billionaires of the world are worth billions of dollars, not in liquid assets. They have ownership in assets that other people value, and other people value them so much that they are worth $1 billion if they liquidate it. And that's part of figuring out tax strategy, figuring out everything going on in our society, is stepping back and looking at the foundation of really what ties us together and how. Anything that happens online, while cool, is not the real world. Yes, we can share ideas. The virtual world has brought a ton of value, but that's it. In the real world, things are permanent. And that's, again, all of this is why I do what I do, is because I want to be part of the change that I believe we need. And it's not about me leading it or being in charge of it. I believe there's a battle for information, not a battle, a war for information going on right now in the virtual world. And people are starting to see how information and the dissemination of information has been used to control our thoughts and control how we interact with people for generations. And they don't like it, and they're trying to change it. And I think that battle is a war every single American is fighting, because we don't know. With AI and the ability to create information out of thin air, you have to be cognizant of how you do everything, of what you believe. And so that's one of the reasons I doubt a lot that is not that I've not seen with my own eyes. Not that I think it's fake, but I don't know the full context. If you watch a 30-second video, you are only seeing 30 seconds of an entire thought process, of an entire conversation, of an entire strategy. 30 seconds is not very long. And the attention span of our society is so short these days that it's like, oh my gosh, you want me to do what? I think one of the reasons my content struggles, I think there's multiple reasons, but one of them I think is because it's boring. I don't do all the YouTube editing tricks and hacks and all of that. I just record the content and put it out there. But my strategy is different, so take Mr. Beast, who is a phenomenal YouTuber. Eventually, Mr. Beast, there is a seat on my board of directors for you. All you have to do is say, Justin, I like what you're trying to do. I would like to be a part of it. And I will give you control. That's another thing. I think control is given, never taken. You can ask me to do anything. It's always going to be my choice. And I may do it, even though I disagree with it. It's not that you have control over me. It's that I have a plan, and listening to you is important to my plan. Control is only given. You cannot take it. I think a lot of people miss that. They miss that part of life, that you have to be willing. You have to be willing and able to enlist someone to give you control. And that's hard, especially when they don't understand or any of that, which I believe that's one of the reasons this is taking so long for people to understand, is because my whole strategy is based on empowering others to be a part of my team, never selling them on being part of my team. I don't want someone to sign up just because I had a good sales message or a good video or anything like that. I want to build a relationship long-term with them. I would rather not have a client for a year, and when they do sign up, they're bought into what we're doing, than get someone to sign up and be a part of it for a month or two or whatever, right? So I think that's just part of everything I'm doing. It's all part of a strategy. And the strategy, it's very complicated, okay? You're gonna wanna write this down. The strategy is to be content and be patient while chasing your dream. It doesn't matter. The time's gonna pass anyway. It's your choice if you have a dream you're working towards. It's your choice how you work towards it. It's your choice how you make decisions. It's your choice how you show up. No one else's. It's no one else's choice. And that's where everything in life is a choice. Like, the spirit of transparency, today I am dead broke. I cannot pay my bills. And that's okay. It's still my choice if I get up and try. It's still my choice if I have a positive or negative attitude about things. It's always my choice. And no one can take my choice from me, because it's made in my brain. And that individualistic approach, I think, is incredibly important for people to realize and understand that we're all in this together. We're all figuring this out as we go. And no one really knows the future. No one really knows what we're doing or how we're doing it or why we're doing it. We're all making this up as we go. I believe by being transparent about what I'm making up, I will enlist people to join the journey, to follow along. First, it'll start by just building a following on social media around who I am as a person. Like, for the next 5 years, my strategy, or 10 years, is to focus on being a great dad and do my podcast. If I do that, I'll be successful. Part of being a great dad definitely is providing for the family and taking care of the family, which is why it's Saturday and I'm driving Uber, and I'm proud to do it. I'm glad I can invest my time to give my kids a better life. Not a better life today. And this is what a lot of people miss. They think they deserve a better life today. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Again, irrelevant. But today, you can work towards a better future. And that's the beauty of life. It's your choice to get up and work towards any future you want to live in. It's your choice to get up and do anything you want to do. But you have to make the choice. You have to be cognizant of the life you're trying to live. And you have to understand that today is not the end. I think that's one of the things a lot of people have a struggle doing, is understanding that today is not the end. It's not the last time this will happen. It is not the end all be all. Today is just a stepping stone to tomorrow, and it always will be. And so you've got to look at today the way I look at today. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Every day I start off with a blank slate. The past is in the past, the future is forward. How do I want to show up in that future? And it's your call. It is your choice how you show up in that future. No matter what that looks like. It's your choice. If I had a message for everyone, it would be choose. Make a choice. Whatever that choice happens to be. Make it and run with it. My opinion is if a decision's going to need to be made again in the next 3 months, it's probably an irrelevant decision. Because you can change that decision so easily. You can change it so quickly. But that's life. That is life. And so I've been talking a lot about belief and change, because at the end of the day, you only need one person to believe, and that's you. All of the rest is irrelevant. They may believe once you have the results. Maybe. But people do not trust other people. And they don't want to take the time to really understand how other people think. People say, oh, what's your 30-second pitch? If you think in 30 seconds you can explain redesigning a tax system, great, good for you. I would love to hear your theory in 30 seconds on how to redesign a tax system. I don't believe that's possible. I don't try to do a 30-second pitch. If anybody wants to know real quick, I say, so my mission is to change the way employees are compensated in America. And I'm doing that through my blog. And my blog operates like an employee stock ownership plan for all of the subscribers who help me be successful with my blog. In a nutshell, that's what I'm trying to do. But it's a different way to think. It's a different way to process information, and at the end of the day, the currency I'm trying to collect is time. So I believe money, the dollar, is the physical representation of time in our society, because we are all always paid hourly, or everything's about how much do you make per hour or per year in dollars. That means the dollar is the physical representation of our time. And then you take that dollar and share it with other people to get other services or products. And so, once you make money, it is your option where you spend that money and how you spend it. It's up to you. And that's how I see collecting time, collecting and monetizing time. So at first, I need to collect it, get the follower, get people to pay some attention to what I'm saying and the way I think. Once we get people paying attention, then we can work on monetizing it through getting them to subscribe. But for the next 5-10 years, the only goal is attention. Monetization will come eventually, and some people may sign up today, but whether they do or not is irrelevant. Because the only way I can collapse time as the founder is through embedding my time into the asset every day. And that's why I do daily journals, is because every journal I'm embedding more of my time into the asset. And once it's in the asset, then it lives on, and people can go back through and pay attention to my history, pay attention to what I've done, how I've done it, you can do an autopsy of everything I've tried to do in launching this company, in launching this idea, because of how I've documented it. I mean, it's almost like the library of Justin's history. Because it's just my thoughts. It is a window into how I think and operate as an individual. Not gonna lie, there's not been a lot of people for me to drive around. Very sad. Maybe we'll head up towards the airport, see if anything's going on around there. But yeah, so right now, I've embedded 2 years of time into the blog. If I spend the next 5 years embedding more and more time, now we'll be at 7 years that the company has been incorporated. And what that means is, as the owner of the blog and runner of the blog, I can collapse time between when the company started and that day. So as of today, I can collapse the time between the founding of America's Holding Company and today through someone subscribing today. They have caught up to where I am in my journey because of how it's been designed. Now, they can't catch up on the multiple, because again, you get ownership based on the number of years you're subscribed to the asset. So you can't catch up on the multiple. 2 years have passed that I've put into this that other people haven't. So my multiple is growing. Emily's multiple is growing because we are on a married filing jointly tax return. And everything I do is tied back to tax returns, because it's, again, the goal is to build a tax system that lasts for decades. This is not a fast solution. It's not going to be easy. And that is the point. The point is that we're looking at the long term, and how do we design something that leverages technology to accomplish it rather than humans. Everything I've created, I can do myself. I have Rosie, who's my virtual assistant, who is amazing, who produces my show. So each morning, today I uploaded yesterday's videos to this app called Veed.io. Veed.io, and that's what we add the transcripts with and all that. So I upload it there, and then she adds the transcripts, downloads it, turns it into the podcast, into the blog. She posts it on all the social media platforms. And as I'm creating content throughout the day, I'm also uploading it through WhatsApp to her to produce that content. Because my goal is speed to production. Most companies have so many hoops they have to jump through to do what they're trying to do, whatever that happens to be. My goal is to say, no, this is what we do, this is how we do it, this is how you can be involved if you want to be involved, and being involved is your choice. You do not need our permission or anything like that. This is a team. We want people who want to be part of our team to work with us. And that's why, so the America's Holding Company logo is our team logo, right? Essentially, that is the brand that owns my blog, is America's Holding Company. My goal is to get that logo turned into, to get it placed next to all the Better Business Bureau logos and social media icons on websites and on signs and stuff like that, because that logo represents, hey, this organization supports this mission. And so if I'm driving down the road and I see Orange Hair Salon and Spa has the America's Holding Company logo, I know that they're supporting the blog that I'm supporting, and therefore I have ownership in some of the profit they generate because of the subscription to America's Holding Company. So as I go in to get my hair cut or spa done or whatever, I'm paying them, and they do whatever they do with their money. It's their business. But monthly, they've subscribed to this idea that I'm also subscribed to. So part of their profit goes into this idea. And the more companies that are all adding a small part of their profit to this one idea, and that idea is owned by all the employees that are adding that value. And the ownership is divided based on the number of years they're involved. So the longer someone's involved, the more ownership they get of the asset, because they've been helping us build that asset for so long. Looks like downtown may be a better direction for me to go. And that's how this whole system's designed to work. Is we all live our lives. What I'm trying to do is very similar to what Social Security did when it was launched in the 1930s. It is designed to take care of the workers, the people on the front line who are driving our society forward. Most of the company isn't even owned by me. I'm the chairman of the board. I can control the asset, but I don't own the asset. Most of the company is owned by the company. I'm just the steward of it. Which I believe that's how it should be. And I believe it works because you can never go back in time. And you can never change what you did, or why you did it, or who you did it with. Everything is set in stone. And that's the purpose. Time is the true currency of the world. No one controls our time. You can restrict what we do with it. Laws and regulations restrict our ability to use our time as we see fit, I believe. But you can never control it. That's the freedom of thought. That's the freedom of time. Is understanding that this is us. So, it's fun. So you see these orange areas up there indicate surge pricing. So that means a lot of people are trying to go somewhere, and so there's not enough drivers. The passengers pay extra, so more drivers like me, who is currently on their way to that area to find people. It's all about supply and demand. Everything in life is supply and demand. And I think one of the biggest things to look at is, what is the addressable market? So like, food businesses are really hard, but your addressable market is huge. I wonder how the radio operates with like this recording. If it'll get copyright dings or anything like that. I don't know. If anybody has any thoughts or understanding on that, I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear them. Oh. Did you see that right as I got here? Drop down. Oh well. Oh well. And so that's where, you know what I could do? I make like a sponsorship place in here, and then I can put like company logos of the companies who are sponsoring me, who are sponsoring us. And that's the other thing, like in the digital world, you have to constantly create for that creation to be seen. But in the virtual, or in the real world, I made this sticker 2 years ago. and it's still right there. And so once you do something in the real world, it has a much longer staying power than in the virtual world. Because in the virtual world, there's unlimited space. There's unlimited options for what you can and can't do. What you can and can't see, and where you can and can't go. But in the real world, everything's very limited. That's why I believe the virtual world has unlimited leverage. This podcast I'm doing today, this journal entry, 2 people could watch it, or 2 million. Either way is irrelevant. I mean, I would prefer 2 million, but, you know, that's just me. That's a little too close. I would prefer 2 million, but the difficulty does not change whether it's 2 or 2 million. The results do not change whether it's 2 or 2 million. The difference is how much time we collected. Well, I feel like I've rambled on and on and on. Been fun though. Appreciate y'all joining me on this adventure. Maybe I'll just head home. Go mow the yard. I need to do that this weekend too. Hey, here's 9th Street. We'll head up 9th. Yeah, if anybody wants to be a guest on my show, on my podcast, reach out, let me know. We can do Zoom, in person, either way. And that's the whole point of this, is to leverage, to create something that other people can leverage. I'm willing to live my life unlike anyone else, which is why I believe I will be successful. And I'm going to use that to help as many people as I can be successful as well. Hey, we found one. Oh, wants me to go left. We're gonna go straight first. Alright. It's all about the teamwork. And so as people start tuning in and following the journey, you'll see right now it's pretty much the Justin show. Ideally, soon you will see guests and people will start seeing what I'm doing, and my time will be filled with creating content on the behalf of others instead of just sharing my thoughts. And that's the whole goal. Like I mentioned earlier, if I ever run for politics, my differentiator is that I will bring the voters with me wherever I go. Because I can. Because that's how I've designed my life. It's a choice. Anyone can do it. And frankly, I wish our politicians, I would replicate everything I've created for them for free. All they would have to do is buy glasses, put them on, and have their assistant, PA, whatever, process them. Because this, I believe, is how we change our society, is by being the change that you want to see, by going out and treating people the way you want to be treated and the way you think our society should treat each other. If you're tired of people being rude, please stop being rude. Anyways, we're gonna grab our next fare and we will go from there. Hello, hello, hello. I'm still out driving. Had 2 fares that were great. This last one was a lot of fun. I'm loving meeting people. I think that is my favorite part about this, is I get to invite someone into my world, into my car, chat with them, get to know them, and then we go about our separate ways. It's like an introvert's heaven. It's very fun. I'm trying to figure out how do I, so like today I've talked to multiple people about my podcast and what I'm doing, but we've not recorded any podcasts while we're driving. I need to figure out a way to like broach the topic quickly, because we only have like 10 minutes or whatever. But yeah. Hey, got another one. I'm kind of trying to go home, but nah, I'm just cruising. I'm just living my best life. It's all we can ever do. Is deal with your today, whatever it may be, however it may look. Well, I will talk to y'all soon. Well, I'm wrapping up. I'm headed home. We'll see if I get any more offers on the way. Or requests, I should say, for a ride. It's good. I made $89 today, which is great. It's fun figuring this out, and I've had a lot of really fun conversations, a lot of really nice people. So it's been an adventure. An adventure for sure. If I found like a $10 plus one, I'd do that. That's the hard thing, is shorter trips obviously cost less, but if you have to drive 15 minutes or 10 minutes to get there, you didn't get paid for that. So it's a lot of split judgments you gotta make, just as you're going. There we go. This guy, come on in. We'll do this last one, and my hope is it'll get me over 100. And then I'll shut off and head home, get ready. We're meeting there at 3:30. So head home and hang out for a little bit, and then off again. Off again to the wild blue yonder. I do like the mountains in Idaho. Pretty. Pretty. We got a top golf finally. Been a couple times. It's a ton of fun. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all soon.
What can we get going for you?
I am not sure. Emily, what do you want?
We are not doing flights today because it's the Raptor Fest.
Okay.
But we are doing by the glass and by the
Can't
bottle.
do 1,000
Okay.
people. That is beyond my
That's
control.
fair. What do you do?
Whatever.
Glass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you guys?
That's great.
Half the time with events like this, because there's really no seating, I
Yeah.
hand people their flights and they look at me.
Like, what are you doing?
What do you want me to do
Yeah,
with
that's
this?
And I look at them back, like, so.
That's fair.
Make it easier for everybody.
For 2 nubs, you can't drive.
So we have glasses of everything out, everything displayed. We
I'm
have
down with
full
whatever.
bottle list. If you both want the same wine, a bottle's just cheaper than a wine.
That's what I'm thinking. If we all want the same
Whatever
one.
whatever you want. I'll split.
And
Okay.
we're handing out plastic
You
glasses
pick-
because I'm not doing dishes
You
for
no,
1,000 people.
well, we're dealing with
So fair.
No.
So fair.
No, I was supposed to agree. I don't care. I don't want to make the decision. Probably a red or a
That one?
Do you like red?
Yeah.
Do you like red? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Rosé.
do one of these.
Or not.
Or not.
Cab.
Well, I told him to make the decision.
There you go.
Like I
You-
said,
you
I did hand it off. I did hand it off. Can we pick up wine colors?
Good? Good. Perfect. We put our dart on there. We hook the back end of it, rest it in this groove, and then we're going to use just our pointer finger to hold it on and control it. Okay? And when we throw it, you're going to be here. You're going to go straight back, straight forward, and then you're going to push the dart out. So you're going to snap the point. And that's where all of your power is going to come from. So that's snap the point. Okay? So it should be something like this.
Woo.
Something like that. Alright?
All right.
Dart. Make sure you let go of your finger before you throw, otherwise it won't fly right.
There you go.
We'll let you go in the second round so then you have more room.
I've done this before. Mom.
There you go.
Field trip to
Oh,
like
hold on.
celebrate
Grab the whole thing right there.
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to let go of that finger before you throw, okay?
Nice, Scarlett.
Make sure you snap the point.
It was,
grab another one.
his place.
Nice, Tristan.
Yeah, I was like, I think it was like, yeah. Tristan, you will go next.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Woo.
Place I got my Italian soda that's all cream, but it's over there. Is that a good thing? Yeah, like Red Bull, like you do plain Red Bulls. This place I think does smoothies, but that's not really advertised very well, so I didn't really know.
Wow, Scarlett. That was a good one. Yep. Oh, Tristan.
You're getting good.
Woo.
Get it way out there, Scarlett. Good finish, good job. Yeah, but there's 3.
Man, Scarlett.
You'll be able to go next one.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Hold it a little bit higher than ankle. Lift the end of your dart. A little more.
Ooh.
Am I the only one that made it all the way over there?
Yep. You did great.
Also,
Right? When the zombies come, we will be glad you're on our team.
And push down.
All right, T.
Let it bounce back up. And then go. All right.
Nice.
Go retrieve your darts. It's a drill. Oh, it's a drill. Walk. Make sure we walk. Keep the points down. The feathers up. Feathers in the air. Points down. Ready, bud? We make it all the way to the target.
Oh, yeah.
Go all the way back up. There you go.
All right, Robert and Edery.
Put them back to there.
Robert,
Walk. Make sure we walk.
Edery.
we're supposed to clean out our closet. So our closet.
Tacos and all kinds of food. I don't need a shish kebab out here. Hey, bud, which one do you want to try?
You gotta go back to the line. Think about this as a line. You can go as many times as you want, as long as you take turns with everyone in line. You're gonna do it again? Yes. Yeah.
I don't get this thing.
Woo.
Actually, I'm gonna go.
Nice throw. Oh, good job, Eddery. Whoa. Did you see that? So bad. Yeah, this is not going very well. Keep. Please. Oh, you got weight. Here, you want to use one of mine? I did it a little bit. Nice. Robert. Shoot it. Woo! Right. Yeah, it's hard to walk. Hey. You want to point the point down, okay? There you go. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you can bring it back and throw it away.
I've thrown once before.